Hello everyone and welcome to today's episode of Editing with Gizmo Panel. And today I would like to show you how to make more precise selection using the Sky Selection tool in Adobe Photoshop. Making selections and masks is one of the most fundamental Photoshop skills, as it enables you to work with a particular part of the image, and so you can make an adjustment without affecting other elements. And today I want to talk about an automatic sky selection tool in Photoshop that makes the process of making changes to the sky pretty easy. But how good are those automatic selections? Let's take a look. Let me use the sky selection tool in Photoshop, and to do that I'll go to Select and click on Sky, and Photoshop will analyze the image to find areas it thinks belong to the sky, and once it's finished you'll see the marching ants highlighting the selection. Okay, now let's take our selection to the Levels adjustment layer, and let me turn up shadows and midtones all the way to the right so we can see this effect, to better see the selection. Now, holding down Option key on Mac or Alt key on Windows, click on the mask and we will see the luminosity, where the luminosity is being applied. Now clicking back on the layer will show your chosen area in red. If I look at the selection, I see problems with the Photoshop Sky Selection tool, especially in the top area of the lighthouse. It wasn't very accurate in this particular case, and it didn't give me a very clean edge. I will hide this layer for now, and I will rename it to Sky Photoshop. Next, I'll try to improve the sky selection by adding a little bit of the contrast to our image. And I will use the curves adjustment layer, and I will create an S-curve by setting two set points, one for the highlights and one for the darks. And by moving the highlights to the top and moving shadows down. Now, I will use the Sky Selection tool again by going to Select and Sky. And as you can see, the Photoshop will make a selection, and we will see the marching ants indicating the selection. So let's zoom in, and I already see some improvement in our selection. Once again, let's take the selection to the Levels adjustment layer and turn up shadows and midtones all the way to the right. Clicking on the layer mask and then clicking back on the layer will show us the chosen area in red. And let's name the layer Sky Photoshop Adjustment. And I will delete the curves adjustment layer. We don't need it anymore. And I will show you the first selection and then the second selection, so you can see a difference. And as you can see, the second selection is more precise. Okay, in this scenario, I will be using the Gizmo Panel, and I would like to show you how Gizmo Panel will handle this task. So I will go to the Sky Selection tool, and I will choose Select and Sky. Now Photoshop will make a selection, and we can see the marching ants around selected area. And in this case, I will go to Gizmo Panel and click on the Add to Channels button to save this selection. The marching ants will disappear, indicating that our selection is saved. And let me go to Channels tab to verify that it's been saved. And as you can see, this is selection and it's right here. So it's saved. And I will return back and go to the luminosity masking section of the Gizmo Panel. Now let me click on the colors, and I will target the color tone next to the area that basically problematic area. So it's important to set the sample size when using this tool to at least 5x5 average and sample all layers. Now, after making a selection and clicking on the, again, Add to Channels, so we're saving a second selection to channels, so the marching ants will disappear again indicating that our selection is safe. So now we can verify it again by going to the Channels tab, and now we have two selections there. In the next step, I will use the Combine Selection button, and this button, by pressing this, it will merge these two selections into one selection. And let me take a look at the selection right now. Let's zoom in, and let's output the selection into the level adjustment layer. And like before, let's turn up the shadows and midtones all the way to the right, and clicking on the layer mask and then clicking back on the layer will show us the chosen area in red. And let me name it this layer the Gizmo Panel. And now let me show you the final results. This one is selection number 1, this one selection number 2, and this one is selection number 3. And in my opinion, Gizmo Panel provides me with the most accurate selection, and you can see just how powerful this tool is in helping me produce an accurate and most precise result. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the video today, please like it and share it with your friends. Thanks again for joining me today, and I'll see you soon.